This lesson is on how to make your own pasta without using gluten or any kind of grain at all. Believe it or not, you can make amazing pasta from zucchinis. And I've got two tools in front of me here that I'm going to show you how each of them work. And these are both available online, so you can find them pretty much anywhere. The first one is called the spiruli. And the spiruli, the way it works is, and there's another name for it as well, which is the paderno slicer. There's probably several names for it on the internet, and so just see which one you can find. The way it works is it's got a blade that snaps in, and the blade we're going to use today, let me just show it to you this way, is got some teeth on it. And the teeth are medium sized. There's two other blades that come with it. This one's just a flat blade for just making big ribbons. And then there's another one, which is the large blade for making maybe like potato french fries, which I don't really use. You can see this tape still on there. The only one I use is the one that's in the machine now, which is the medium-sized blade. Or actually on this, it's the small blade. And then this piece just slides right in. What's great about this is it's a continuous feed, so I can put a long vegetable in here and just feed it right through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, I'm going to cut my zucchinis to size. And when we're shopping for zucchini, we want something nice and straight. If I get something curved, it's going to be a little harder to work with. So these are beautiful. Nice and dark green in color, straight. I did find a round one. I didn't even know they existed, and I thought that would be fun to play with too. So if you ever find the round ones, you can play with those. You can also use yellow zucchini. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut both ends off the zucchinis. And always when you're cutting, make sure you get a nice flat cut. Like, don't cut them at an angle. So again, always be paying attention. What am I doing with this? What do I need it for? Then a cutting board works perfectly, just some place for the pasta to fall. If you can find a shallow bowl to put underneath, that's great. But since I have a nice clean cutting board, it's just going to go right on. There's a sharp little round circle. I'm just going to insert this and push firmly right onto the circle. And then these teeth are going to grab the back end. And I'm going to push it pretty firmly just to make sure it's in place. Now, what's great about this slicer is it has suction cups. So if you're on a tile surface like this, you can just push it down and it'll stick. And then you're just going to use your hand, some pressure here. So I'm holding my abs in, getting a little ab workout while I'm at it. Always got to find time for exercise somewhere. So I'm just pushing with my hand so both hands are working pretty hard, but I'm not pushing so hard. It's just a good firm pressure. If you don't push hard enough, you're going to end up getting like a really light, wimply noodle. It's not going to work. So just, do it like you mean it. And we're going to push it until it's all in. There's a little handle back here that you can pinch with your fingers. I don't know if you can see me doing that. And then that helps to slide it forward easily too. But I find that just holding the front works. So there we go. And as you can see, it goes pretty quickly. Other vegetables you could do in here would be like you could peel a butternut squash, you could do a celery root, really any firm root vegetable. Skinny things like small carrots don't work so well. Red beets work beautifully. I like the zucchini though because it gets so soft so easily, whereas other root vegetables, really they have to be marinated for quite a while in some salt and acid like lemon to break it down. So once I've got it through, you can see I've got this beautiful plate of noodles, and I want to show you how long these noodles are. Look at this. So one piece is one whole zucchini. So obviously, if you were at a buffet and you were behind someone and they were trying to get their pasta, you might have a little bit of a hard time. So what you want to do before you serve it or before you marinate it is just don't chop it to death, but just do a couple slices through to make sure that you don't have ridiculously long noodles. You still get some good sized noodles that are fun. A lot of times when I'm working with kids, they don't want me to cut the noodles. No! So depending on if it's for kids, you might have a lot of fun. Each kid gets their own whole zucchini in a bowl. And that can be it's so fun for kids to play with noodles. They just love this. So I've got my bowl, and then I can fill it up with as many zucchinis as I need to, and then I'm going to salt it. So before I salt it though, I'm going to show you this other tool here, which is it's called a spiral slicer. And Joyce Chen has a line of these, and I find that the Joyce Chen spiral slicer is a really good quality. Some of them out there unfortunately aren't as good of quality, so I like the Joyce Chen one. It has a little blade, the teeth in here that pop. You can see that from above. Pop out. You can pop it out to clean it. So to clean it, there's a little lever here. You can see that the lever, as I push it, it goes either up or down. And to clean it, I would just take the knife and pop it, and the blade will come out. I'm not going to do it now because we're getting ready to use it. And then this is the bowl that catches the noodles. So I'm just going to take a zucchini. This one's already been cut. And I need to cut it to size because if I put the whole thing in, won't reach, right? So I have to cut it at least in half. If it's a super long zucchini, half might not even be short enough. So let's just see if that fits. If it doesn't, then I have to cut it down a little bit more to size. That's the only drawback of this, is that you have to cut everything short enough to fit in there. Once it's in, you lock it into place, turn it to your left, and then I'm going to use the palm of my hand, not my fingertips, but the palm of my hand. Pull it as close to me as possible. Out here, you're using your shoulders. In here, you're using your abs. Nice straight posture. Hand, you didn't know this was an exercise class too, did you? Hands straight and flat, using some good pressure, but not so much that you're over pushing, just a good firm pressure. And out the bottom comes, now these are more like an angel hair pasta. So I use this one when I'm doing marinara sauce because marinara is so delicate and it doesn't have any nuts in it. Whereas when I'm doing the Alfredo and the pesto, I'm going to use the thicker noodles. So you can see that this would make just a beautiful plate. You don't want to salt this or anything. You just put it on the plate and maybe plate it with your sauce right over the top, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Now that you have this is about 6 or 7 zucchinis, 8 altogether. Now that you have all your zucchinis through your machine, you're going to want to salt them. I usually count on about 1 zucchini per person when I'm serving, unless it's the only thing you're serving. If you're serving salad and some other items, 1 zucchini should be plenty. And you might want to make extra just so you can have some for the next day. With this size noodle, you definitely need to salt it, because what happens if you don't salt your zucchini is once the sauce hits it, there's salt in the sauce, it will suck up, all the moisture will release from the zucchini, and then the flavor in your sauce will really dissipate, and the whole recipe will get very soupy. One time I was catering an event in Bali for a group of about 30 yoga students, and we'd made the pasta already, and we had the sauce on it. It was in a big bowl, and of course for 30 people you have a huge amount. And the zucchini pasta was piled up really high, and the sauce was on it, looked beautiful, but they were delayed. So by the time everybody circled up and they were all there, the pasta had started to release its water, so it was literally like dripping water over the sides, and we were trying to do damage control, and the sauce didn't end up not tasting as good because it was all watered down. So I learned my lesson real quick there. So maybe you can just skip that step and go straight to salting your zucchini. So I'm just letting the zucchini sit for a little bit, and after we make the sauce, after your sauce lesson on Alfredo and on pesto sauce, then you can see how the zucchini has really softened up and the water has released. But as it sits, you'll see the water starts to settle to the bottom, and then you just want to put it in a salad spinner and spin it just like you'd be spinning lettuce leaves, and all the water will spin out and you'll end up with a nice dry looking noodle. If you don't have a salad spinner, just use a tea towel or some paper towels. Drain it first in a colander and then use the tea towels to sop up any of the extra moisture. And these should last in your fridge about 4 days after you've made them, and then they'll be just good to go on any sauce you want to put on them.